weeks ago in Kansas, Mark Taylor and Ed Carpenter enjoyed a spirited wheel-to-wheel duel. At times, up to 4 cars battled for the lead inches apart. Eventually, Taylor collected his 3rd win of the season. Tonight, they all challenge the concrete high banks of Nashville Superspeedway. Infiniti Pro Racing Under the Lights is next. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, welcomes you to Nashville Superspeedway for the 2nd annual Indy Racing League Infiniti Pro Series Nashville 100. You've heard this story time and again. A talented young hopeful comes to Nashville wanting to do whatever it takes to make it to the big time. And although the arena tonight does not involve country music, but rather open wheel racing, the aspirations are exactly the same. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, along with Indy Racing League veteran Davey Hamilton. Glad to have you with us. And, Davey, everyone here tonight wants to make that next step up to IndyCar racing in the big leagues. But a lot of obstacles stand in their way. We'll all start with Hamilton's hot tips with this concrete racetrack.
This is the only concrete racetrack that Infiniti Pro cars run on this year. Very bumpy, it's very mentally challenging and physically challenging. Number 2 is with a concrete racetrack, hardware, tire wear. It tends to wear the tires a little bit more. And then the 3rd thing is, this is a one-day event. The only time this year the Infiniti Pro guys came in one day, practice, qualify, and now race. So we'll see who's the most prepared.
The limited time didn't bother one owner who put 3 cars in the top 6 in qualifying, including his natural golf entry on the front row with Brandon Irwin. He deserves a pat on the back, and our Amy East is with him.
Well, he sure does, Jerry, and it is tough to field a competitive car in any series, and for 3 competitive cars, that's quite a feat. Brandon Irwin is sitting outside pole. Tom Wood, fastest in every practice, and even young Ross Von Furco has been holding his own in his Pro Series debut. What has these team cars running so well?
Well, it's a good team. I mean, we've got a good group of guys that we've been working on now for about a year to try to build some continuity and keep some people employed, and it's really kind of taken us a little bit this year. We got a late start on Brandon's program, and you know, it's just starting to gel, and so much of it is that gelling, that continuity, and everybody getting along. So it has been a picture-perfect day, but you know, ask me in about an hour what I think of running 3 cars at one time. I'm a bit stressed now.
I bet he is, but an hour from now, just 77 laps, one of his 3 cars just may find victory lane.
And Amy, wouldn't that be an emotional victory lane if Sam Smith can get a car to win here for his very first Infiniti Pro Series event? Mark Taylor, 3-time winner, 2-time pole winner this year, will lead him down. And there's a car you talked about, Brandon Irwin, in the natural golf Sam Smith Motorsports team on the front row. Back in row 2, Jeff Simmons, runner-up at Pikes Peak, the New York native, the Western Union Speed Team machine for Keith Duesenberg. Watch him for being a factor. And Tom Wood, who was the fastest car in all 3 practice sessions, finished 3rd last week at Kansas City. Wood, the Trailblazer Drilling Savannah Energy Delara. Back in row 3, Ed Carpenter, the winner of Indianapolis in the Freedom 100, the Futaba Delphi AJ Part Racing Machine, and Ross Von Furco out of Wheaton, Illinois, making his very first Infiniti Pro Series start. Aaron Fike, the winner at Pikes Peak out of Galesburg, Illinois, the RFMS Himmelgarn Racing Machine, beside Corey Witherill, his teammate, who won this race 1 year ago. Tiago Medeiros, the pole sitter for the opener of the season at Homestead out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. The Genoa Racing Machine, flanked by Paul Dana out of St. Louis. The Ethanol Team ISI Ken Hartley Racing efforts. Back in row 6, Dave Steele making his first start of the year, 2nd ever start at Infiniti Pro Series Racing. The Silver Crown Ace from Tampa, Florida has the Curb Records machine, flanking Matt Beardsley out of Breckenridge, Colorado. And back in row 7, the R.E. Lyondike Jr., son of 2-time Indy 500 winner R.E. Sr. out of Scottsdale, Arizona, and Jonathan Erlin in 14th spot. Green flag at Nashville Superspeedway. Glad to have you with us. And a piece of front wing coming off one of the cars. It looked like it might have been R.E. Lyondike Jr. and lost a piece of wing.
I'm not sure.
It might be Simmons. I'm sorry, I believe it's Simmons. Jeff Simmons in the Western Union Speed Team machine.
There you go. You can see him come around, Jerry, with the right front wing gone. Listen, that's going to play a big part. That's a lot of downforce that he'll be losing on the front of that race car. It's going to tend to pick up a front push, or the front end's going to push, not turn, understeer as they call it. So he'll have a long day.
You hear him say that it is it is still okay. Stay out. I mean, what kind of handful is he going to have here at 170 miles an hour?
Well, as you can see right there, as he's going through the corner, he slid up very high. There's a car coming underneath the inside right now. I think that is Tom Wood, actually. And Ed Carpenter coming underneath of him. He's going to have a hard time making that car, making the front end grip and turn through that corner. You can see he's running very high right now.
Looking back from Mark Taylor's car, you see the wing just sheared away from the front of the Western Union machine. Now looking forward from Ed Carpenter, his onboard camera, and there's a wing going up. And by the way, for you fans, the wing, it's ended up in the grass, so it's not a debris problem for the racetrack. Here is Brandon Irwin looking underneath Mark Taylor for the pass.
And actually, he tore his nose wing off on Brandon, so hopefully Brandon Irwin doesn't have any damage to his left rear tire. It was a very slight hit, but you never know. Sometimes that carbon fiber wing material can cut into a tire, and they got to be easy on these tires on this concrete racetrack today.
As you mentioned, it is not a paved racetrack with asphalt. It is concrete. That's the white color on the racetrack. Very wide, 55 feet wide. The banking, 14 degrees in the turns, 9 the front straightaway, 6 degrees down the backstretch. The Fulmar Panther machine of Mark Taylor, who won at Kansas City, won at Phoenix, led every lap at Phoenix, and won in the opener at Homestead, being chased by Brandon Irwin, the natural golf Dallara. Adam Sam Smith Racing. Irwin yet to lead a lap this year, and man, is he hungry for a win.
He is hungry for a win. These guys have been running really good all year long, and now Sam Schmidt bringing 3 cars here. He has to be happy at the start of this race, running 2nd, 3rd, and 5th place with Ross Von Furco right now. His first time with Sam Schmidt, and so a great run for him, but boy, it'd be great to see Sam get a win in the Infiniti Pro car.
Mark Taylor, the yellow car, behind him the natural golf machine, about 3 car lengths, make it 2 car lengths back. And we are told that Aaron Fike, the 91 car, may be getting a black flag as it comes by that time. Yes, indeed, the 91 will be a black flag. Apparently, the Indy Racing League observers see some spray from the back of the car.
That's too bad, especially under green flag conditions. That's going to take him out of contention for sure. And the sad part would be if there's something really spraying out of the car. Fortunately, they have observers all the way around this racetrack, so pretty obvious if something's coming out of the car. They'll see it just to make it safe, get him off the racetrack.
So Aaron Fike, the winner at Pikes Peak, will have to come on the pit road. Mark Taylor, the man they're chasing, Irwin, Wood, Carpenter, and Von Furco in the top 5. Back with more in just a moment. Our Speed Road coverage of Infiniti Pro Series action from Nashville Superspeedway is being brought to you by Firestone, America's tire since 1900. Still in the early laps here on the 1.33-mile high bank concrete. Nashville Superspeedway, great side-by-side action a moment ago. Paul Dana, right side of your screen, being passed by Matt Beardsley, having a pretty good run. Beardsley battling with Simmons here in the Western Union machine. Jeff Simmons, who lost that right front wing on the start, still sliding up across the racetrack.
He would sure like to see yellow right now, get in the pits and put a new nose piece and nose wing on that race car. He's fallen back all the way back to, I think he's in 11th or 12th position, and he's going to keep sliding back unless they can fix that nose wing for sure.
Well, here's the guy they're all chasing, Mark Taylor, our pole sitter, has led the first 18 laps. Brandon Irwin behind him. You can see way back there is Brandon, and here's a good side-by-side battle for second spot. Tom Wood side-by-side with Brandon Irwin. It makes the pass for second spot. As this pass has taken place, let's check in where Amy Meeks is caught up with a very disappointed driver.
Well, you won at Pikes Peak, Aaron, but today you barely even got in the first few laps. The black flag, you were smoking. Was it the engine that let go?
No, motors ran good. I think somebody got into Jeff Simmons on the first lap because he's falling backwards, and we broke an oil cooler. I think we went right through the radiator or something, and you know, it's just horrible luck for us. You know, we finally got up into the points. We've had a few good runs in a row here, and it's just bad luck for the whole team.
Well, you guys, it looks like that front wing off of Simmons' car may have caused some damage for young Aaron Fike.
Tough break for Aaron Fike, who had trouble here last year, didn't qualify to start shotgun on the field and drove his way to finish 3rd in this race a year ago. His teammate, of course, Corey Witherill, won. Heavy traffic now right in front of our leader.
Looks like Dave Steele, I think, in the 33 car, and they're going a lap down, but this is a time where racing could be interesting because of not a lot of cars on the racetrack. They got 14 side by side. Oh, Carpenter spinning through the grass on the infield actually right now.
And that will bring out the first yellow. There's the Futaba Delphi machine, and Ed Carpenter has already taken the steering wheel off. Apparently,
must have been contact.
Must have been some contact. He just spun right across. See if we can go with his onboard camera and see what happened.
Looks like Jerry just got high. It looks like he got high on the coming off of turn 4. Got maybe the loose stuff, the marbles up in that. And there's going to be a lot of marbles on this concrete racetrack for the reason that they wear the tires just a little bit more on this concrete surface. And maybe just got up a little bit high, slightly out of the groove, and slid into the wall. And he knew he was done. He hit hard enough to bend some suspension, and his day's over.
He looks very frustrated when he climbed out of the car, looked back up the racetrack. Carpenter second in the point standing, 61 points back of Taylor. Carpenter had a great run at Kansas City, led 46 laps last week at Kansas City, and finished second position. Frustration from Ed Carpenter, who won his very first Pro Series event this year at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Freedom 100. Well, Corey Witherill out of Los Angeles, California, knows that his very best moment in his brief Infiniti Pro Series career came right here 1 year ago.
Here he comes. Twin checkers are out. Corey Witherill is the winner of race number 2.
That was awesome. You know, before the season started, I set out a goal in my mind to win 2 races for sure, and that was Nashville and it was St. Louis. Only because those are the 2 most difficult tracks that we're going to go to, and I've been at St. Louis, and I like a challenge, and those are challenging tracks.
And Corey Witherill led 68 of 77 laps here a year ago. He's being shown in 5th spot right now in the WSA, I should say, Himmelgarn-Johnson machine. We are under yellow for the first time today, coming on lap 21. Ed Carpenter's car had contact with a turn 4 wall. By the way, Aaron Fike also behind the wall with a debris going through the oil cooler, broken oil cooler, and the Himmelgarn-Johnson car.
Be ready.
Right now, got Mark Taylor leading the pack, and they're going to throw the green coming out of 4th somewhere. But Tom Wood, he's the one that could have an advantage. Sometimes if he could time it just right, to be able to get a little bit of a jump on Mark Taylor and race him down the front straightaway. Sometimes it is an advantage of being second.
And Sam Smith has 3 cars running second, third, and 4th in Wood, Irwin, and Fonfurco. As you watch a very anxious Sam Smith, going to be very proud. You saw him smile a moment ago. His 3 cars coming across the line, second, third, and 4th. I mean, what a valued owner he's been here for the Infiniti Pro Series.
Oh, for sure. And you look how close they're running together. I mean, those cars are prepared well. You know, having 3 cars with a small team like Sam's, those guys have to work extremely hard to get the cars all the same as they are, and their nose to tail right behind Mark Taylor. Now, I know they're planning on Mark as the run goes on. He tends to start slipping up the racetrack just a little bit, and Tom Wood thinks he has a perfect race car for today. So, yeah, no, as long as they don't run into each other, they have a good shot at winning this race.
Well, Tom Wood testing here after Kansas City a couple of weeks ago, so he's running in second spot. He has the freshest, at least the most experience on this racetrack, although he did not run here a year ago. Mark Taylor did not run here last year. Brandon Irwin hasn't been here before, and neither has Ross Fonfurco. So none of the top 4 drivers have been on this racetrack prior to this weekend, except for the testing by Wood.
You wouldn't know that, would you? I mean, they're looking like they've been here many times, and you know what's hard to see right now is this racetrack is very rough down the straightaways. You can kind of see the suspensions on Mark Taylor's car going down the back straightaway, that it is rough, and it's very hard. I ran a 2-seater car around here yesterday, and after giving 20-plus rides, it was actually hard to focus. My eyes were kind of sore going into the corner, and these guys racing wheel to wheel, side by side as they get. It could be tough as this race goes on.
And Wood trying to get a run on Mark Taylor, and Taylor slams the door. Tom
Don't
Wood,
lose momentum when you do that.
46 years of age, out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada, came out of Formula 2000. His teammates in Formula 2000, by the way, talking about Wood, were drivers Buddy Rice and Sam Hornish, 2 pretty good teammates in Formula 2000, actually.
And he wants to end up right where those guys are in Indy racing cars, and you know, performances like this, he's going to get there.
And he is all over the rear deck of Mark Taylor. Now, if you're Mark Taylor, do you know where Wood is, or do you know what's happening behind you?
Oh, he knows. He knows for sure. I'll guarantee you that he's looking in his mirror just as much as he's looking ahead of him. And plus, his spotters are telling him that he's got some heat, he's got some pressure. So he knows they're there, but he's going to do all he can to keep that car on the bottom of the racetrack. So if Tom passes him, he's going to make him do it the hard way and do it on the outside.
Well, the Trailblazer Drilling Savannah Energy machine of Tom Wood trying to take the lead, but also trying to hold off his teammates, Brandon Irwin and Ross Fonfurco. Back with more at Nashville, Tennessee in just a moment. Back at Nashville Superspeedway, Lebanon, Tennessee. IRL Infiniti Pro Series action. Jeff Simmons has come a long way in a short amount of time. Davey Hamilton, he had lost that front wing, the right front wing on the opening lap. Came in, made a pit stop, changed the entire nose piece without losing a lap, and has now battled his way back to 5th position in the Western Union machine.
He's got passed more cars than anybody out there, that's for sure. Starting 3rd, knocking a nose wing off, going all the way to the back. But fortunately, yellow flag came out, allowed him to go into the pits, put a new nose piece on, and he obviously has a great race car because he's passed everybody, got all the way back into 5th place, and is running down 4th place. And Mark Taylor continues to lead, but a moment ago, Brandon Irwin was able to get back by his teammate, Tom Wood. And there is Irwin in the natural golf machine. There is Wood behind him in the Savannah Energy efforts. They are 1, 2, 3. As the Fulmar Panther efforts, the familiar yellow colors of Team Panther Racing and Fulmar Printing, for Mark Taylor showing the way since the drop of the green flag. Let's check in the Brandon Irwin pits with Amy East.
Well, Brandon did not practice well this morning, but in the second practice session, they made a lot of changes. One of those was the gear selection. Now, Davey, you can probably associate best with this. He said the 5th gear in his car, he would run out, but the 6th gear would not pull. So he needed something right in the middle that would really help him out. They found the gear that they needed to qualify well, but they were unsure as to if it would be enough or the right gear selection when it comes to race time. Now, Davey, do you think that this gear, good for qualifying, may be what's holding him back from catching Taylor right now?
Absolutely, Amy. It could be a situation where it's so critical to get your gear choices right, as what he's talking about in the 5th gear, that he's probably on the rev limiter a little bit. He runs out at the end of the straightaway. Doesn't get that RPM and the speed, or actually the mile per hour that he wants at the end of the straightaway. So he goes to 6th gear, and then he can't get to the maximum RPM that they could run and get to the rev limiter. So he can't get to the momentum going. So very difficult. Now he's in a tow. He's a little bit of a draft. He might be hitting the limiter in 6th gear. When 5th gear, he's way out to lunch. So he's good by himself, but now in a tow. So it's so critical on any kind of race car to get the gearing just right, because you have so many different conditions, so many situations that it changes.
And he's making a run now on Mark Taylor once again, getting a run on the high side of Taylor, and Taylor just hugs that bottom of the racetrack. How tough is it, though, when you get a run on the guy here and you can't make the pass? It's so difficult. This track, even though it's wide, it's narrower than most of the tracks that we run at. With this concrete surface, you kind of see the black line where everybody's running. It's right on the bottom of the racetrack. So Mark Taylor's making sure that he stays on the bottom of the racetrack, and if he's going to get past, he's going to make him do it the hard way. Like I say, on the outside, make it the long way around, and it's a very difficult track to do that. Concrete, it's rough, it's hard on tires, a lot of marbles up high, and it's difficult to get around on side by side with a guy going through the corners. Well, Davey, the driver who brought out the only yellow thus far today, is now standing by with our Amy East.
Well, Ed Carpenter, you went through the grass. We couldn't really see what happened from your onboard. It looks like you may have just gotten a little high. What happened?
Yeah, we had a push condition 2, 3, and 4 from the start of the race, and I just pushed it up a little bit in the middle and got in the gray, and then there wasn't much I can do. I didn't have real hard contact, but it bent the right front suspension enough and spun us out and put us through the grass. So just disappointing team for the whole team, for my sponsors, for Top and Delphi. I mean, not a good points day at all.
Back up to speed here a moment ago. Here's what happened on the racetrack on lap 71 as you were doing the interview down there, Amy. Brandon Irwin loops it out of turn 4. Irwin, who has had a great run in the natural golf machine. He and his teammate Tom Wood swapping second spot a number of times. Irwin driving it for all it's worth, looped it around and brought out the yellow flag after a great effort here today. And we are under yellow for the second time. Less than 5 laps remain here at Nashville Superspeedway, the Nashville 100. And the Fulmar Panther machine of Mark Taylor is the leader. Davey Hamilton, what does Tom Wood have to do to make the pass? He gets a run, but then he backs off and can't make the pass. You know, the only guy that liked to see what happened there with that spin was Mark Taylor, leading the race, but they were in lap traffic, and actually Tom Wood is really pressuring him, seemed to be faster and had a momentum run on him when that spin happened. So now that it's clear track, Tom's just going to have to get a good restart, number one. Number two is he needs to hope his car works on the outside and has just a little bit more speed to the corners than Mark Taylor, because Mark's not going to give up that inside groove, I'll guarantee it. Well, a great effort by the Sam Smith Motorsports teams. They are running in second and third, and of course Brandon Irwin had Had a great run all day. He's back in 10th spot, a lap down. Simmons back in 4th spot in the Western Union machine, all the way from the back of the pack after a pit stop to change the nose. Thiago Medeiros in 5th spot, a Brazilian. And Corey Witherill, the Himmelgarn Johnson car, in 6th. 3 laps left here in Nashville, Tennessee. Mark Taylor, a 3-time winner this year. Wood has never won in Infiniti Pro Series action, and right behind him, Ross Van Furco making his very first Infiniti Pro start, running 3rd here in Nashville.
What a great job. I've never heard of this kid before, but man, he's the real deal. And he comes in here first time in this series and running 3rd and just putting a little pressure on his teammate for 2nd.
Looking back from the full bar, the Firestone winner's onboard camera for Mark Taylor. And here comes Tom Wood. 2 car lengths, a car length, a half a car length, and Wood is closing here with a lap and a half to go.
Tom Wood is definitely faster than Mark Taylor, but being faster and making the pass, that's 2 complete different things. It's easier said than done, and I think Mark, he has enough experience and he's led enough races to know don't give the bottom up, and I think they're going to be coming down for the white flag this time. He only has 1 last lap to give it a try.
Indy Racing League clocks had Wood a mile an hour faster. Final lap, can Tom Wood pull it off? The Canadian has never won. His best finish coming a week ago in Kansas City. And you're listening to Tom Wood's radio. He will try high. Out of turn 3. 1 turn remains. Can Taylor hold him off? Out of turn 4, Mark Taylor will take his 4th win of the year. But a great challenge by Tom Wood, who finishes in 2nd spot. Ross Van Furco finishes 3rd, Simmons 4th, and Thiago Medeiros rounding out the top 5. What a great Indy Racing League Infiniti Pro Series event here in Nashville, Tennessee. When we come back, we'll talk to Mark Taylor and find out how he held on in just a moment. Our speed mode coverage of Infiniti Pro action from Nashville, Tennessee has been brought to you by Firestone, America's tire since 1900. Our final results: Mark Taylor kicked his 4th win of the year. Tom Wood, a career best finish. Ross Van Furco, career best, only his 1st start. Jeff Simmons from back to the front finishes 4th. Thiago Medeiros comes home in 5th spot. Brandon Irwin finishes in 10th. Good one. Matt Beardsley, his 5th top 10 finish of the year. And the rest of our finishers there: Dave Steele, Erlen Carpenter, and Aaron Fox. Let's check it in victory lane, where Amy East is caught up with a couple of special guests as well as our winner.
And those special guests are the Firestone retailers, Dave Campen and Bobby Jenkins. They are aside the winner again. This is 4 times now, Mark. Side by side at Kansas. This time you had 2 Sam Schmidt cars all over you. Which victory was easier?
I don't know. There were 2 great cars behind me, that's for sure. We didn't have a perfect car. We had a good enough car, and that was important. I was able to keep it out in front. I tell you what, those 2 cars, they could have, if they'd got past me, I think they'd have left me for dead. So it was just nice to keep out front. It was definitely hard work and an enjoyable present to get at the end of it.
In Music City, that present is the trophy, an electric guitar. We'll just see if the Wimbledon native knows how to play it.
All right, Amy. For Amy Yeast, Davey Hamilton, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Jerry Punch, once again congratulating Mark Taylor on his win here in Nashville, Tennessee. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. So long, everyone, from Nashville.